Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I'm coming to you guys with a really exciting video because Kibei sent me out their new secret. Now, you might be curious, what is the secret? Well, it's a 65% custom build from Kibei, and if you remember, I did a review of the base, and that one was a really nice 75%, which went on sale and was at a ridiculous price. Now they're coming out with a 65%, and we're gonna have to really see what this is like, but we have to thank Kibei because really this is an awesome experience to be able to try out new boards and of course see how it is with different switches and the different types of builds we can do with it. So let's go right into it, but please make sure to like and subscribe and come join the Discord because in our Discords we can always discuss and ask questions and see what it's like, and I can maybe do like even certain other things that you might be wondering that I'm not able to make like a full video on. So let's go right into the unboxing and go into the build. So starting off with the unboxing of the secret. Thank you again, Kibei, for sending me this out. Now, I have to admit, the design of this packaging was done really well. And so inside here, you get some little accessories. These are going to be all important parts to actually build this board. So they give you two different plates. You get an aluminum plate and a PP plate. You also get a PCB, you get some foam, and then we're going to look at the board itself. Now, I got the crimson depth, and I really love the color. Now, the red and like the almost bluish gray really looks so nice to me. One thing I was surprised though is that the board feels quite light, even though it has a weight in it. And underneath here is the secret of this build. Kibei actually adds in an extra weight inside of the box, and it's a PVD weight. And as you can see here, it has like the pure mirror look to it. It's gonna scratch really easily and it's not gonna be great for that, but it's still nice, and they actually provide you a screen protector as well. Now going into the actual build of it, so you can see here you get the two different plates. So you have a aluminum plate and a PP plate, which they're both going to be measuring at the 1.5 millimeters thickness, non-flex cut, so none of you guys have to worry. These aren't going to be a flex cut PCB or flex cut plate. I don't know why there, but my tongue was tied. Now, one thing I really appreciated was that they have so many different screws things inside that's available, but one thing I'm worried about is, will I be able to do this all with one specific like head for the screwdriver? Now, the PCB is also going to be 1.5 millimeters and non-flex cut, and you also have a magnetic connection. So this is something that's really good to see, because at the end of the day, nowadays boards are all going towards this magnetic prong connections, which honestly makes it a little bit easier than have to deal with ribbon cables, and I actually kind of like this kind of design more. Now, we're going to open this up, so we remove the screws and we can remove the top casing, and the aluminum, like the CNC, is done really nicely. I love this design inside. So it has like those little cutouts, and then you have this really nice beautiful weight on the back. Now we're going to be putting on the feet as well, so they give you these rubber feet to put on. You really have to put those on because otherwise your keyboard's going to slip inside everywhere on your mouse pad or desk pad. And another thing is that it actually also helps with kind of reducing the thumping from the desk, so something really nice to see. Now going into the plate, so we're going to start with the aluminum plate, and we're going to do a foamless build. I'm also going to use Kibei's screw-in stabilizer because it actually has something very special inside, and it's going to be the plastic wire. So this is something I really appreciate because metal wires do have this ting to them, and I found that this plastic wire actually doesn't have too much tinging. So this is something nice, but you still have to lube it quite well. And I'm not going to go through the lubing because I've done that before in many videos. So we're just going to put it in, and then I'm going to use both the Cheese V2 from Kibei, and I'm also going to use the Blue Cheese V2. The reason why is I want to give you guys a clacky sound test and a thocky sound test, so giving you guys two different versions. So I'm actually putting in the lubed Cheese V2 switches in, and you have to make sure to use the fork because it'll actually keep the switches right in and won't have the plate cave in. Now, to be fair, with aluminum plate, you don't really have to worry about this as much. You will have to worry about using that more with the PP plate because any type of plastic, it's going to flex a little bit more, which then when you're putting in the actual switches, it won't fully be flush, which is a issue. So make sure you actually use a fork when you are putting the switches in, or if you don't have a fork, just put in something in between, like some kind of thing that can hold up the plate while you put in the switches, and just make sure that you put in it one at a time, and overall you should get a good fit into it. If not, use like tweezers and kind of pull it up a little bit. Now we get these little nubs that we're going to put on top. So this is a top mounted board. Then I kind of wish that you had different options for mounting. That's something that I really would have loved to see, but this is only top mount. So they have those rubber or silicone nubs so that you can actually get less of the ringing from the case. And I really do appreciate it, so you don't actually have to do some kind of like force break mod. That on its own should actually reduce a lot of that kind of tinging and sound resonating through the case itself. Now I need to put in the keycaps, and I think the keycaps that work best for this is actually going to be the ones I have on my Neo 65 Core Plus, and that's going to be the Evil Doge. Now I realized I don't have enough keycaps from the Evil Doge because I actually only bought the 75%, so I don't have a 7U. But I do want to use a 7U spacebar for this, so I'll find one. That's also a GMK, and let's go right into just taking a look at this beautiful build. Now, we've just finished, unboxing it and doing the build, and what are my thoughts in terms of what it looks like? Well, this board is really well done in terms of the design. I really love the look. I got the crimson depth. So you guys can see right here, it's like a navy-ish color, and it's got a really cool design to it. I love the look of it. I actually used the GMK Evo Doge, and you guys would have saw at the end of the build that I actually didn't have the proper keycaps down here. So I actually changed it out for the GMK Pixels from Drop, and that's because I didn't have the full set of the Evo Doge. I actually only got a 75% at the time because that's what I was planning on using it for. And then this time around, I was like, okay, you know what? I actually do need... Oh, sorry. So this time around, I actually do need like a full board. So it's really cool. I think the design came out really well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Now, we're going to have to go into doing like the sound tests of the board and really see what it's like. I'm planning to do like a ton of sound tests together for this because, at the end of the day, we're wanting to see how is it foamless, what is both plates like, and what is it like foamed as well, and two different switches. So give you guys a clacky side and give you a thocky side and kind of get an idea of what it's like. So let's go right into doing the sound tests of all of them and then see what it's like, and then of course go into an in-depth look and my thoughts of what the secret's like. So we did the foamless sound test with both the aluminum and PC. Now the next thing I'm going to do is actually going to be opening this up again, and we're going to look into a little bit more stuff. So very easy to open up. It is a little bit of a hassle because of the amount of screws you have to remove, but overall not too bad, especially if you have an electric screwdriver. Now one thing I do want to show you guys is the PVD plate alone. So the PVD plate is really nicely done. It actually has a very heft to it, like feels incredibly heavy, and I really love the design of this thing. Of course, it's gonna get really dusty, it's gonna get dirty, like it's gonna have a lot of stains on it. They do provide a screen protector kind of thing on top of the PVD, but there's one issue that I'm gonna show you very soon. So when I am putting on this thing, I realized while I'm doing this, you should never do it like this. You should actually install the PVD plate first and then install this on top after, which I'll show you guys later. But another issue I found was that the protector is actually too big. It doesn't fit perfectly in terms of the PVD weight, and I brought this up to Keybay. So Keybay's actually already reached out to the manufacturer so that they're going to make sure to fix that, because you do not want a screen protector that's too big and won't fit properly. Now the next thing we need to do is, of course, add all the foams. So we did the foamless sound test. Now let's do the foamed sound test, and PVD not installed yet. So we're going to go into adding every single foam. Now one thing I realized for the actual PET is that you have to remove the enter stabilizers and the left shift stabilizers because it's not cut out. Or if you have scissors, you can just cut out a piece and like make it easier for yourselves. I just wanted to show you guys what it was like. So for myself, I actually ended up cutting some of the pieces so that it can easily fit in. So we have to remove the stabilizers and then re-add them back in, which shouldn't be difficult at all. Honestly, it's only 2 different keys that you're gonna have to put them in for. And then we're gonna go into the sound test of all the foamed sound tests with the cheese and the blue cheese and the plates. So we finished all the foam sound tests. What do we have to do next? So the next thing we're going to do is add the PVD inside. But let's take apart the bottom and just take a look and see what it's like. So I love this design and I love this color. One thing really special about this secret is the fact that you can take off the middle plates. So the middle in the bottom casing is actually separate, and the weight is actually built into the bottom of the middle, and you can change up the design with this specific like look. So as you can see there, I actually took apart a lot of things to take a look and see, to see where like the ribbon cable was, how it looked like, and also just to see that the middle also circle can come off, and you can actually turn it around and make it upside down depending on what kind of look you want. Now as you saw there, the bottom plate, like the bottom weight, can be removed easily, and then you can actually attach the PVD on bottom. I really like this PVD. It looks really nice in there. As you can see there, has a little bit of edging. I know Alex Soto's actually mentioned that, and it has like almost like a border around it, which looks really cool. You do have to use the different screws, and also the middle plate actually requires a different size screw to be able to remove it. So I do wish they kind of made it all the same screws size so that you don't need different heads. It would have been really nice to have it so simple. But overall, we added it in the PVD. Looks super nice. I know it looks a little bit dirty, but please forgive me for that. And we're going to put it all together. And then I'm going to give you guys a sound test with foamed, not foamed, with both plates, all the switches with the new weight, because it might sound different depending on how heavy the board is. So let's do that. Now, let's go into taking an in-depth look at my thoughts in terms of Keybay's Secret. It looks incredible in terms of the design, and I really appreciate it. Now, let's hear what the actual aluminum is like in terms of the ping. So from that sound alone, I noticed that like there's not too much of that like high pitched ping ting sound, and the aluminum is really a good material that they use. Like it's a very well done thing that, you know, Kibe really put a lot of attention to detail to. As you can see here, the borders, so the PVD is not a full like same size as the bottom, and you can see that little border there, which actually looks really cool. I like how the red's coming off a little bit. I kind of wish the sides of it as well were red, so that you get like the full red border all the way around. That would have been really, really nice. Now, the thing I was mentioning is, yeah, installing it after you installed the actual PVD in the back of the board is probably the best way to go about installing the screen protector. So it would make your life so much easier to do it like this. Don't be like me. I'm very dumb, and sometimes I like to try things very impatiently. Now, overall, I can't use this anymore because I have done too much with it. But one thing I did say earlier is that it's too big, and it really is. So it has that like little side piece where like you can actually move it easily from the back of the board, and also in terms of like, sorry, my camera's trying to focus there, but the top and the bottom ends are a little bit big, and it doesn't flush in terms of like the actual weight itself. So when you look at it and when you try to install it, it will get caught on stuff, and that's the only thing I'm not a big fan of. So that's why I mentioned it to Kibe, then they are going to make sure that it does fit well. One thing else I really wish it did was it was like a tempered glass, because tempered glass would really help with protecting it and keeping it from scratches. I think if they're going to do it like this, it would be really appreciated to have a proper tempered glass protector. Overall, I love the design of this stock one. So it's not heavy. I kind of wish it had more weight to it, but I do love that you can actually change the design out. So you can flip it around and change up the back design however you'd like. I do appreciate that top right. I know people are going to be like, why isn't there a volume knob or things like that? But you know what? That design there really fits well with this whole board, and it's not just something that's missing, but really designed well to look that way. Now, the way that the top mount works, it really does make a very sturdy sound. So you get a very strong, like sturdy and like full sound. The only thing though with the top mount is that the aluminum plate for foamless is probably not the best way, especially if you use it stock. If you do add a lot of weight to the board, it does help with the aluminum plate a lot. But I think if you don't do that and you have a stock one, the best way to go about it is use the PP plate. The PP plate is really great. It has an even stronger sound to it, and I really appreciated like that full sound that it makes. And even with clacky switches, it sounded so good. I wish there was a carbon fiber plate, and you know, I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this. If you really want a carbon fiber plate, please leave a comment in like the comment section so we can keep pushing Kibe to try to make a carbon fiber plate. Now, as you can see with that side design in the middle, I love the detail that they put into this. I was really shocked with the amount of detail that they added, and I really like how you can actually change it out too. So there's a copper version that you can actually change this out to, which I'm really tempted to purchase, but it is expensive because I'd love to add extra weight to this thing, and I think it could sound really nice with this. I really think that overall, really Kibe did an amazing job with this, and I'm quite surprised, honestly. I really appreciated it, though there are some caveats, as I was mentioning, with how the board itself kind of has that hollow sound to it. It has a little bit of like an empty sound specific with the aluminum plate. So I'm curious if like they could have done something a little bit better for that. And in general, I say the PP plate really does cover that and isn't as bad for that empty sounding. I'm curious if the PEI plate will make that fix, but I'll have to try it once I get it. Now, overall, the CNC is super smooth, and I really love how it was done. I really don't like spray painted boards. I'm really preferring like the CNC. One thing though is that it can get dusty on there and it can leave marks on there. It's easy to clean off, but I did notice like sometimes it has like these white markings, like you can see it right there. So I didn't really do much. I'm just like playing around with the board, taking it apart, but it left those marks there. So that's something to be careful of. It's not that it scratches, but it does leave some kind of residue. But overall, really appreciating how it's very smooth and great. Now, the stabilizers, I did appreciate like the C7U and how it is. It sounds very interesting compared to a 6.25. And I think for the stabilizers, using the plastic wire really did help a lot because it doesn't have like that high ping sound. So I really do think that if you're looking for stabilizers and you don't have them yet, try looking at the Keybase while you're buying this. Now, of course, let's go into actually taking a look at the site. So as you can see, they do have a landing page where you can actually go through the information, kind of the ideas and what they were planning. Then you can go into the group buy and you can see the pricing. So it's quite expensive in Canadian, and to be fair, it's not the cheapest in USD either. It's going to be $299, so 300 USD. That isn't a low price, but when you consider group buys and like custom builds, it's not going to be an expensive price either. This is actually sitting around the closer to lower price range. Overall, they have so many different colors. I was quite surprised how many colors they did. I thought they might have done like less, but they really went all out. And there's even a full copper version, which I'm really curious how that sounds because it's full copper, and that'll be interesting to see. You also have the option for 6.25U and 7U. Also, they have a page for extras. So you can buy the mid copper plate, which is really cool to see, and even a copper bottom layer. So you can kind of mix and match this thing. They also have a PI plate, a 4 millimeter PI plate, a brass plate, and you can get an extra PCB. You can also get a patina weight on the back, which I'm really tempted to get the patina, but I kind of want the mid layer a lot more because like it's gonna make a different sound. And unfortunately, I don't have the copper mid layer, so I can't give you guys a sound test for what it's like, but it's really cool. Now, it does end on December 20th, so keep in mind that the group buy ends on December 20. You can also go onto Keybase Media and then click on the Discord. This is where you can get the JSON file. So if you go all the way down, there's the document section. You open up the Google Drive link, and you'll be able to pick up the JSON file, which I will have it linked in the description for you guys, so it's easier to find. Overall, it is with VIA, which is really great. And I really appreciate how it is. Super easy to use. You can open it up, really customize it however you want. If you use the 7U, you're going to be missing the right Alt key and Control. So you can make the functions. I would highly suggest make 2 functions and then kind of play around with how you'd like to use certain things. I don't use the right Control, but I use right Alt often. So I used function right Shift, and that way I can still keep it going with like the right Alt key. Now going into Keyboard Inspector, it does get 1000 Hz, so it's more than enough for gaming. The few things that I do wish that they did was maybe have more ways to do mounting, so like gasket mount or other things like that, and even having some more plates like CF would have been cool. My final thoughts in the secret is that it's a really well done top mount 65%. I would say the aluminum plate really isn't going to be the greatest in terms of some of the long pole switches. Actually, one of my viewers, Nav, was suggesting that I try it out with like the rail out bottom switches, and yeah, in general, I think those ones are gonna work a little better. So I personally think in terms of the aluminum, that's gonna be what works best. I actually really loved the sound with the PP plate, foamless, with like a clack. It actually has a really nice clack to it. Not too crazy, not too and not going to be too deep sounding. Overall, it came out really nice. I'm actually really curious what the other plates are going to be like. So I know that Keybase said they're going to send me out the PEI plate, the regular one, and I'll do like a short video so I can give you guys a comparison in terms of what it sounds like with the PEI. I also ordered myself a 4mm PEI, which I'm really curious how that's going to be as well. We're going to have to see how those are, but in total, do I think that you have to purchase like the copper bottom and stuff? You don't have to. I think they did a really great job of making it sound really nice with the clack and like the weight of the build, especially with the special like little gift they provided. You guys can really see right here. It does get dirty though. Unfortunately, the screen protector portion, it wasn't the best, but I actually talked to Keybase and just guys mentioned that they're actually looking into it. So Kiba is gonna go look into it, make sure that the screen protector is actually well done, and it would be awesome though if they could actually make it more like tempered glass. I'll have the links in the description for you guys. Go check out this build. The group buy is happening right now until December 20th. Go check out the link in the description and really see what they have, because there's so many beautiful colors available. I'll have to catch you guys next time, but please go check out the other videos I got.